Hi there, and welcome to Hibbert's Hangout. Today on the channel we've got a game of Marvel Crisis Protocol, in which it will be the Criminal Syndicate taking on the Web Warriors. The threats being played today are Infinity Formula goes missing, which is the 4 serum canisters on map B, and then alien ship crashes in downtown. The threat level being played today is the 20 threat from the alien ship. So then we'll show you the squads and we'll get into the game from there. So today's 20 threat of Criminal Syndicate, we have Kingpin, Green Goblin, Mysterio, Kraven the Hunter, Bullseye, and Crossbones. The team tactics cards for the Criminal Syndicate today consist of Shadow Organization, Cruelty, Illicit Tech, Grand Illusion, and should we be able to pull it off, Fearful Symmetry. The Web Warriors today, being led by Miles Morales Spider-Man, consist of Spider-Man, Black Cat, Spider-Man Peter Parker from the core box, Ghost Spider, Moon Knight, and then Daredevil. The team tactics cards for the Web Warriors include Spider Tracker, All Webbed Up, Aunt May's Wheatcakes, The Cat and the Spider, and then Disarm. So here's our board for today's game. We have the 3 rubble piles on map C, and then we've got 4 serum canisters on map B. The 4th one is just tucked behind the building there. So after deployment for the Web Warriors, we have Black Cat, Spider-Man Peter Parker, Moon Knight, and then Miles Morales Spider-Man, Ghost Spider, and Daredevil over on the right hand side. For the Criminal Syndicate, we have Bullseye, Crossbones, Wilson Fisk the Kingpin, Green Goblin, Mysterio, and Kraven. And it will be the Criminal Syndicate getting things started in round number 1. So it was Green Goblin up first for the Criminal Syndicate. He did 2 melee movements to get within center range, and he paid a power to interact with that rubble pile, but was unable to find that Kree power core. So for the Web Warriors was Moon Knight, who rolled a die at the start of his activation, got a shield, so he was able to gain 1 extra power, of which he spent that power after 2 melee movements to interact with that rubble pile, but was unable to find the Kree power core. So then we had Bullseye for the Criminal Syndicate. He did 2 melee moves to get within range of that rubble pile and spent a power to interact with it, but was also unable to find that Kree power core. So then we had Black Cat for the Web Warriors. She did 2 long movements to get within range of that rubble pile. She rolled her die after paying a power, and she was able to find that Kree power core. So then was Crossbones for the Criminal Syndicate. He just did 2 short advances, leaving him within 1 of that serum, and so he'll be gaining an extra power during the power phase next round. So then we had Spider-Man Peter Parker, who just did 2 melee movements to get within range of that serum canister, and it's ended his activation right there. For the Criminal Syndicate was Mysterio, who just did 2 short advances to get within securing range of that serum canister. Then we had Miles for those Web Warriors. He just did 2 melee movements to get within securing range of that serum canister. So Kingpin has just followed his team up that left hand side of the board and has entered his 2 short movements within securing range of that serum canister. So Daredevil just did 1 long advance to get within securing range of that serum canister and has ended his activation right there. Kraven was up next, and he just did 2 melee movements to try and get over to that left hand side of the board. To finish things up in round number 1 was the Ghost Spider, who just did 2 of her long movements to get within securing range of that right hand serum canister. So this is how the board looks at the end of round number 1. Securing the serum canisters for the Criminal Syndicate are Crossbones and Kingpin, and then Mysterio has the one on the right hand side. For the Web Warriors, they have Daredevil and Ghost Spider on the right, and the 2 Spider-Men are on the left hand side. And then scoring that Kree power core is the Black Cat, who I don't think I've stated it earlier, but she has taken a point of damage due to holding onto that core and being unable to make an attack. So at the end of round number 1, the Criminal Syndicate will be scoring 2 points due to holding 2 of the serum canisters, whereas the Web Warriors will be getting 4 points due to having 2 canisters and that Kree Power Core on Black Cat. As we head into round number 2, it'll be the Criminal Syndicate going first. So Crossbones will be going first in round number 2 for the Criminal Syndicate, but he has paid a power to get access to some illicit tech. So Crossbones did fire that Expo Sin plasma rifle into Black Cat, which got through for 1 point of damage. It also deals out the Incinerate to anyone of the enemies within 2 of her, which included Moon Knight and Spider-Man. Crossbones, having gained that power, then decided to spend 2 for Overpower, in which he did 2 points of damage, but he got the wild so he could throw her first. So he picked her up, threw her into Moon Knight for 2 points of damage, and then his attack did the last 2 points necessary to daze Black Cat, and she dropped that Kree Power Core, and he spent his last power to pick that up. Moon Knight was up first for the Web Warriors. He activated and rolled a die, and he got a hit. This gave him 2 extra die, so he paid the 4 power that he had to do Avatar of Khonshu, did this into Crossbones, and that only got through for 2 points of damage. Now he did push him away short. Crossbones aggressive back to him short, so basically stayed where he was. And Moon Knight was placed within 1 of him, so he is currently contesting that serum canister. But he followed that up with a bow staff into Crossbones, which would have done 2 points of damage. However, this time he had a power to spend for Inured to Pain, so he only took 1. So Daredevil was up for the Web Warriors. He did a long advance to get within contesting range of that serum canister. However, Mysterio was ready and he used his tricks and traps, which did 3 points of damage to Daredevil, also allowing Mysterio to move away short. Daredevil had no choice to follow this up but with a baton hook as he was out of range for a strike, and he whiffed his roll, only rolling blanks and blocks. Kingpin was up next for the Criminal Syndicate. He started things out with a short advance and finished things up by paying 3 power for a Hail to the King into an incinerated Spider-Man, which got through for 4 points of damage. He does get the throw, so he picked him up and threw him into Spider-Man Miles Morales. So in total, he's done the 5 points necessary to daze him, and then Miles Morales also took 2 points of damage due to failing his dodge roll. So it was Miles up next. He did a medium movement to get to the other side of Wilson Fisk, abandoning the serum canister, but he did spend 3 power for a Venom Blast into Crossbones, which would have dealt 5 damage. So Crossbones has been dazed, dropping that Kree Power Core, which it had dropped either way, and Spider-Man has paid 1 of his last 2 power to pick up the core. Bullseye was up next, and he just did a medium movement out the front of Josie's, and he is in contesting range of that serum canister. He then chose to do some throwing knives into Spider-Man, but he did no damage. So the Web Warriors just have Gwen left to the Criminal Syndicate's 3 activations, so they've decided to pass this one, and it'll be back to the Criminal Syndicate. It was over to Mysterio. He started things out with a hypnosis gas into Daredevil. However, this did no damage, so he just followed this up with a short advance to get back onto the serum canister. Again, the Web Warriors have decided to pass due to it being 2 activations to their 1, and we'll see what either Green Goblin or Kraven do next. So it was Kraven up next, and he just did 2 medium advances to get within contesting range of the serum canister. So Gwen did decide to just stay where she was with the hopes of just scoring the Web Warriors some points. To finish off the round was the Green Goblin, who decided to do 2 medium movements and got himself behind Ghost Spider, so unfortunately she won't be scoring any victory points due to Kingpin's leadership ability. So here's the board at the end of the round. The Criminal Syndicate are securing all 4 of those serum canisters, but the Web Warriors are able to hold on to the Kree Power Core. So at the end of round number 2, the Web Warriors will be scoring 2 points due to Miles having that Kree Power Core, taking them to 6. However, the Criminal Syndicate, due to holding all 4 of the serums, also go on to 6, As we head into round number 3, flipping their cards is Peter Parker, Black Cat for the Web Warriors, and then Crossbones for the Criminal Syndicate. Miles started things out in round number 3. This is where he ended up, but let's show you how he got there. He started things out into Kingpin with a webline kick for 2 points of damage, but he was able to pick him up and throw him into Bullseye, dealing 2 to him as well. He then spent that 2 power for a web swing, so he got placed within 3, and then did a medium movement to get to where you see him there for hopefully a little bit of safety. So it was Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, up next for the Criminal Syndicate. He did a headbutt into Spider-Man, which got through for 2 points of damage. He then spent 3 power for Hail to the King, which got through for 2 more points, being able to push him short, and also gave Spider-Man the stagger condition. So it's over to the Web Warriors, and Aunt May's Wheat Cakes has been played. And removing a point of damage is Daredevil, Moon Knight, and Spider-Man Peter Parker. And it was Peter up first, and he had to shake that stagger condition, and then followed that up by spending 2 for some taser webs into Bullseye, and this did 4 points of damage. So Bullseye's been dazed and won't be getting her turn. So then we had Crossbones. He did a strike into Moon Knight, which got through for just 2 points of damage. So Moon Knight did only have 2 left, but Crossbones decided that he was going to haymaker his overpower, spending 6 power, making sure he dealt that 2 points of damage. And Moon Knight has been dazed and won't be getting an activation. So over on the other side of the board, we had Daredevil going into Mysterio. He decided to do a strike, spent 2 power, so Mysterio had to use his 1 die. However, he only dealt 1 point of damage, but it was with a wild, so he stunned him. And then he did another strike into him, again spending 2 power, and again just doing that 1 point of damage. So Green Goblin was up next, and he did 2 sets of pumpkin bombs into Ghost Spider. The first dealt that 2 points of damage with the Bleed and Incinerate, and the second would have dealt 4 points of damage, so she's been dazed and won't be getting an activation this turn. So Black Cat was up for the Web Warriors. She spent 2 power for a Troublemaker, did this into Fisk. It would have dealt just 1 point of damage. However, he chose to ignore that with his intense physical conditioning. She does get a short movement off it due to her elusive with a wild, so she did a short advance to get within contesting range of the serum canister, and then she did some cat claws. This time with the pierce got through for 2 points of damage, and Kingpin had no power to reduce it back down. So Black Cat should secure that serum canister as it's been measured, and Kingpin is outside of just range 1. So then we had Craven, who has spotted his prey. So he has done 2 medium advances and will be securing that serum canister instead of Black Cat. And then he is certainly within range next round to target Spider-Man. It was then over to Mysterio to finish things off. And instead of putting any attacks into Daredevil, he just chose to shake that stun that you see and end there, as he didn't want Daredevil striking him back. But he will be able to secure that objective thanks to Fisk's leadership. So here's how things look at the end of the round. Once again, the Criminal Syndicate are securing all 4 of the serum canisters, but Miles at the bottom of your screen is holding onto that Kree Power Core. And there's been a couple of days characters, so we'll show you the points, and then I'm sure we'll head into round number 4. So at the end of the round, the Criminal Syndicate will be going up from 6 points to 10 due to holding the 4 of the serum canisters, whereas the Web Warriors will be getting 2 points for Miles holding on to that Kree Power Core. As we head into round number 4, flipping the cards is Moon Knight, Ghost Spider for the Web Warriors, and then Bullseye for the Criminal Syndicate. So round number 4 starts out with the Web Warriors in control, and they're spending 3 power off of Black Cat to play all webbed up. And this will affect Kingpin, Bullseye, and Craven. Web Warriors being Black Cat and Spider-Man, have chosen to spend 1 power each for disarm, and this will affect Craven the Hunter, having seen his plans coming. So it was Black Cat going first. She decided to do some cat claws into Bullseye, which has dealt 5 points of damage. So he's our first casualty and he'll be taken out of the game. She then chose to do some cat claws, this time into Craven the Hunter, and that cut through for 3 points of damage, leaving him with just 2 health on his healthy side remaining. So it was Craven the Hunter. He started things out with a Kukri Strike into Spider-Man, which dealt 1 point of damage and the bleed condition. He followed that up with a Spear Thrust, with Spider-Man only having 1 health remaining. He did manage to block all incoming damage. So Craven knew it was a risk. He decided to spend 2 for Cruelty. This time it's only 3 damage due to being disarmed. But Spider-Man once again able to block it. So he is alive with 1 health remaining. So we had the Ghost Spider. She started things out by paying 3 power for a freestyle beatdown. This into Green Goblin, which did 3 points of damage. She was able to throw him into the car also for 1 point, and that car will be destroyed as Goblin is bigger than it. But then she followed this up with a Spider Technique, even adding those 3 extra die. This time she only did 1 point of damage, so Goblin is alive with 2 health remaining. Then we had Crossbones taking on Moon Knight. As he went toe-to-toe with him, he spent 4 power for a Haymaker Strike. Did this into Moon Knight, which dealt 1 point of damage. He followed this up for just a normal 5-die strike. This time, it dealt 4 more damage, so Moon Knight has been taken out of the game. Daredevil was up, and he started things out by striking into Mysterio, spending 2 power to negate his defense, and it got through for 2 points of damage and a stun. He followed this up by paying that 2 power on his next strike again to negate the defense, this time only dealing 1 point of damage. Over to the Criminal Syndicate, and it was the Green Goblin. He spent 2 for a hit and run, did a medium advance, and followed it up with some pumpkin bombs for no damage. He then did a Knight of the Goblin, and this also did no damage to the Ghost Spider. Then it was Miles for the Web Warriors getting back into the fray. He spent 2 for his Web Swing, got placed within 3, did a medium movement, which got him within securing range of that serum canister, but also did have him within range of 3 of Fisk. So he did a Web Line Kick, getting the Wild, but it did do 1 point of damage, so he got to pick him up, threw him into Craven, and that got through for 3 damage onto Craven. So quite a successful turn there for Miles, and we'll see what the Criminal Syndicate do to retaliate. So it was over to the Kingpin, and for his first action he had to shake his stagger, but he followed that up by spending all 3 of his power for a Hail to the King. Did this into Black Cat, which got through for 5 damage, so she has been taken out of the game. Spider-Man activated, and he did a strike into Craven, which got through for 3 points of damage, so he has been dazed. For his second action, Spider-Man just chose to shake the bleed to try and stay in the fight a little longer. Mysterio was finishing up the round, and he spent some power for Curtain Call, which got through for 1 point of damage to Daredevil, which meant he's also staggered. For his second action, Mysterio is just going to shake that stun. So at the end of a bloody round 4, the Criminal Syndicate this time will be holding on to 3 of the serums, whereas Miles is holding on to 1, as well as that Kree Power Core. At the end of round number 4, the Criminal Syndicate will be going up 3 points from 10 to 13 due to having 3 of those serum canisters, whereas the Web Warriors will be going up 3 points as well, this time from 8 to 11 due to having 1 canister and that Kree Power Core. As we head into round number 5, flipping the cards is just Craven for the Criminal Syndicate. Ghost Spider was up first in round number 5, and she did a freestyle beatdown, which did the 2 points of damage necessary to daze the Green Goblin. She then just repositioned herself should Mysterio try to advance up the board to try and push her off the objective. Craven was up for the Criminal Syndicate, and he started things out with a Kukri Strike into Spider-Man, which has done 2 points of damage, which was all necessary to just take him out of the game. This then triggers Fearful Symmetry, and Craven will be transforming into the new Spider-Man. So Craven, or should I say Spider-Man, had one more action left. He just did a medium advance after transforming to still be within 1 of that serum canister, but that got him within range 4 of Miles, so he spent 2 power for a web line to pull him in, to then spend 3 for a webapult to throw him into Josie's for 1 point of damage. So then Spider-Man decided to cover a lot of ground. He spent 2 for a web swing, then did a medium move to get him to about there, at which point Mysterio used his tricks and traps as he was within range 3, which got through for 1 point of damage, so Mysterio advanced away short. So then Miles couldn't target him again, so he just did another medium advance to get just within securing range of that serum canister, but he's alive with just 1 health remaining. So it was Mysterio. He did a hypnosis gas into Spider-Man, who got 1 point of damage done to him, so he dropped that Kree power core, in which Mysterio has paid a point of power to pick it up and has advanced short to contest that serum canister. So then it's over to Daredevil to finish off the round for the Web Warriors. So it was Daredevil last up for the Web Warriors, and he did a baton hook into Mysterio. He only rolled 1 success, but he paid 2 power, so Mysterio's 1 defense die came up with his skull, so that 1 damage was done to Mysterio. He's been dazed, got pushed towards Daredevil and dropped that Kree power core. Daredevil has spent a power to pick it up, and so then it's over to the remaining Criminal Syndicate. So Crossbones just did 2 short advances across the board to try and get over to that crucial Kree power core side. And Kingpin just did 2 short advances to secure that serum that Crossbones has just left behind. So here's how things look at the end of round number 5. The Criminal Syndicate are holding on to 2 of the serums with their own Spider-Man and Kingpin, whereas the Web Warriors have Ghost Spider holding 1 and Daredevil holding on to that Kree power core. No one's claiming that last serum as we head into the all-important round number 6. So the Criminal Syndicate will be scoring 2 points, taking them from 13 up to 15, 1 away from winning, whereas the Web Warriors will go from 11 to 14, just 1 behind them as we head into round number 6. Flipping their cards will be Mysterio for the Criminal Syndicate, as well as the Green Goblin. Goblin was up first, and he did a glider ram into Ghost Spider, which only did 1 point of damage. He followed this up though with a Knight of the Goblin, which would have dealt 7 damage, so Ghost Spider has been taken out of the game. Goblin then had 1 more activation and just enough power to follow this up with a Knight of the Goblin into Daredevil for the 2 points of damage necessary to daze him, so the Kree power core has been dropped. He dropped it away from Miles. He can't pick it up anyway due to his unstable psyche, but it makes it harder for Miles to get that as well as a serum. So I'm pretty sure the Criminal Syndicate are going to take it here, but we'll go over to the Web Warriors to see what they do. So we have looked at it, and unfortunately there's not a lot Miles could do for the Web Warriors. Even if he was to go over, pick up the core, push Goblin off of that serum, he'd only score 3 points, whereas the Criminal Syndicate would also score 3. So Mysterio holds that serum, Spider-Man and Kingpin. However, the Criminal Syndicate's 3 would put them all the way to 18, whereas Miles would put them behind at 17. So unfortunately for the Web Warriors, the Criminal Syndicate are victorious here today and have taken another win from the Web Warriors. So there we have it. The Criminal Syndicate were able to hang on and just edge out those Web Warriors. It was a hard-fought battle. A lot of people got dazed in 1 round. People started to fall very quick, which doesn't play into Kingpin's leadership. But like I said, they were able to hang on and outlast the Web Warriors, but it did come down to that final round. But all that's left to say is, if you enjoyed watching, please consider subscribing for more videos like this. A like would be appreciated, or feel free to comment your suggestions or any criticisms down below. And thank you once again, and I'll catch you next time.